brave. Adventures tonight with our mighty team. Heroes we become.
Dimension 20 is making their own tabletop role-playing game, because of course they are. Good morning and welcome. It's Monday. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm getting these started a little early because I got to go do real-life stuff. It's the 18th day of November. Happy holidays. And I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, and general internet nonsense, known affectionately as the OGGM. Looks like it's going to be another bright, sunny, but briskly cold day here at Site B. Hopefully you're doing well. It's time to open up our maps, take out our sextant, and take a look at the tabletop role-playing game news stories, or lack thereof, that are going to shape the controversial waters of our beloved hobby this week. And the number one story is that Dimension 20 is making their own tabletop role-playing game. Dimension 20 is one of the many live play, actual play, professional founders and legends broadcast type things that started off after Critical Role, because everybody and their dog wanted to get in onto the YouTube, Twitch live play, celebrity sponsors, and Dimension 20 is probably the second most well-known underneath our friends over at Critical Role. So they're releasing their own role-playing game because everybody is. Even I am. No, I'm not. Why should I? There are already plenty of role-playing games. But this one is not going to be another D20 fantasy retro clone. No, this one's based upon Kids on Bikes, and it's more of a modern-day generic system that has some very interesting mechanics in regards to hits and fumbles. And they've been play testing this online on their site. So there is some live plays of it. The system is called Never Stop Blowing Up. And that is to do with one of the mechanics when you roll one, player characters can like explode and stuff. It's supposed to be slightly silly. It sounds like it. But at least it's not D20. At least it's not another online digital media trying to jump on the D20. We're making D&D, but we're not making D&D thing. Instead, it's inspired on a completely different system. It is going for more of a tongue-in-cheek action adventure feel instead of a cinematic fantasy feel. So that's different, and you can check them out. I'll post the link, if I remember, in the description down below. So there we go. Dimension 20 jumping on the tabletop role-playing game printing thingy. Speaking of printing, we've got another game going into print. This is from Foretell Games. They've got the quick start for their tabletop role-playing game. It's called Debut? Sunset? It's called Sunset. Sunset is the role-playing game, and it looks like it is a game where you die, and then you deal with the fallout. So you can have a quick start of a game where your character starts as either dying or dead, and then deals with no one's gonna buy that, dude. In this day and age with the grim, weird world that we're in, I don't think people are gonna want to play a game where they're dying or dead and have to deal with the complications of being dead and then being a ghost, especially when those games already exist. So no, sorry, but don't let me stop you there, because we still got more news regarding publishing. This one from our friends over at Critical Role. Critical Role is releasing another book. Well, Critical Role isn't releasing another book. A company is doing art book thingy that Critical Role is adjacent to. And this is a book based upon a book, based upon a game that's based upon a game. So if you're familiar with Campaign 2 of Critical Role and the unbelievably popular character of Jinx that Laura Bailey played, you might be aware that during the run of the series, her character bought a book and read the book in-game. And the book was called Tusk Love. And it was a romance story about a merchant's daughter who falls in love with a half-orc paladin. Well, Critical Role and Penguin Random House have decided to make a book in real life based upon the book that Laura character Jester, did I say Jinx? I meant Jester. Laura Bailey's character Jester was reading in the game. So there's an actual book coming out called Tusk Love. It's a romance between a merchant's daughter and a half-orc paladin taking place in the world of Exandria. So Yeah, and just that name alone is not going to get them in any trouble. Tusk Love. Yeah. 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 Dust Monkey Love. Bum, 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 bum. Tusk Love. Mm. Yeah, that's a story. That's a news thing. That's something that's actually happening. And of course, the people who get upset at anything that deviates from the norm of D&D are upset over the title Tusk Love. Oh no, I don't know. It'll sell, I'm sure. It was a funny little plot that made its way into the game, and that's being turned into a thing because it's Critical Role, and you need to merchandise Critical Role as much as you can while it's still popular, because we know its popularity is starting to fade already. So yeah, my voice sounds weird. Well, thankfully, it doesn't seem to be much of a controversial week. There doesn't seem to be much going on in the tabletop role-playing game community this week to talk about news-wise. We don't really have any. Oh, wait. We have got more people arguing over timekeeping again in the D&D world space because reasons. And of course, we've got a bunch of old people who don't play D&D, don't run 5e, have never read 5e, have nothing to do with 5e, want nothing to do with 5e, complaining about 5e yet again. And to those people, I say, unless you're actually invested in the game, you probably have no reason to be talking about it. Oh, I'm upset about what they did with Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons this week. Mind you, I don't play it. I don't run it. I've never read it. I don't even know what it is. I've never been in a store, and I don't give them any money. I hate Wizards of the Coast, and I won't give them any money. But I'll make dozens of videos about things they're doing wrong, about a book that I don't buy, own, read, or want to run. But I hate you, Wizards of the Coast, because you changed my game to fit a different audience of which I'm no longer a part. So I'm going to make dozens of videos about you. So that's the story, or lack thereof, and we know that's just going to keep happening. We know the OSR, or whatever they want to call themselves, are going to keep telling us how much they hate 5e, how much they hate people like me, how much they hate Wizards of the Coast, how much they hate the blue-haired freaks. But then they're going to make videos about 5e and how much they hate 5e, even though they don't play it and they don't run it and they don't own it. But they will, make money off of the fact that they can talk about a game that they haven't read. So those are things that's always going on. And then Harmony Ginger has gotten herself again in trouble again in the tabletop role-playing game community sphere because of timekeeping, because of 1.1 timekeeping, which, as you know, she invented, according to some of the ne'er-do-wells who continue to go after. I won't say her name, but that redheaded girl who's in the Bro-SR did something. Yeah. Okay. So the 1.1 timekeeping thing, or the 1.2 timekeeping thing, or the days or weeks timekeeping thing, whatever you do it, timekeeping, real time as a thing, and people argue over how time should be. And Harmony Ginger made some posts about how she did timekeeping in one world, and that got a whole bunch of people suddenly interested in timekeeping and 1.1 time, 1.2 time, how much time passes in game. Nebulous bullshit, and everybody and their dog went after her or supported her, and then it kind of simmered down, other than just the general people who are angry that a young, attractive redhead female is doing better in the tabletop role-playing community than they are. And quite frankly, I think those people should just be grateful that she brought attention to that aspect of the hobby, because if she hadn't mentioned 1.1 timekeeping, would it even just be a thing? Would anybody even be arguing about it now? Same with Bronstein. Had she not casually mentioned that she was using a Bronstein-esque system in her game, would we have had that whole bullshit over Bronstein that is still going on? So in regards to the right way to do timekeeping in your game, whatever game that may be, they're arguing over D&D, timekeeping in D&D, because they seem to have forgotten that there are 10 billion other role-playing games out there. Let's argue over timekeeping in superheroes, okay? Or Call of Cthulhu, or space, but no. And which is the right way? Which is Gary's way? Which is the rules as written way for doing timekeeping? And if you got to do it this way, or you're awful. You got you got to do it this way, or you're awful. No, you got to do it this way, or you're awful. Harmony Ginger is either wonderful for reintroducing this concept and bringing attention to it, or awful for bringing the attention to this. So we're upset about that again in the tabletop role-playing game metasphere, because, I don't know, Wizards of the Coast hasn't done anything to be upset about this week, so we got to pick and choose little battles about over time. So I'm going to give you my answer to what I think about the timekeeping, and you probably already know my answer, because if you know me well enough, you know what I'm going to say. Spoilers. I've said it before, probably than the last time we spoke, but I'll say it again. In case you have gotten so up inside your own ego and willingness to tear this beloved hobby apart for any excuse to go after it, in case you've forgotten, let me remind you that at the end of the day, this whole dice rolling thing with friends is still, always has been, and always will be a stupid little game about goblins with sticks. It's make-believe with rules. Who cares how you do timekeeping in your game if it works for you? Don't let anybody tell you you're playing the game the wrong way. There's plenty of YouTubers out there who have made their entire thing. Two of them did a thing together recently about you're playing D&D wrong. If you don't play D&D my way, you're playing it wrong. You need to do timekeeping this way. And if you don't do timekeeping this way, you're playing D&D wrong. And you're an awful person, and we're going to send the D&D police after you. You're not playing it wrong. There is no right way to D&D. Because it's make-believe with rules. If you are lucky enough to find one other person, not to mention 4 or 5 other people, who can take time out of their busy, complicated, chaotic lives to set aside 3 hours, 1 day a month to play Goblins with Sticks. And at the end of that 3-hour block, you all say, hey, that was fun. Let's do it again. You are not playing Goblins with Sticks wrong. You're playing it right. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. What is the official best way to do timekeeping in the D&D game? Who cares? It's not important. Do it whatever way you want. Timekeep however you want. Don't let anybody tell you you're timekeeping wrong. And stop picking on Harmony Ginger. It's pathetic jealousy, and it's beneath you. Anyways, I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you never want to hear me do the news ever again, let me know. It's almost the end of the year, so if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please jump on that bandwagon and help me hit 2,000 subs by January 1st, 2025. Till next time, stay crazy, and I'll talk to you later. I appreciate you.